Good morning. It is the 27th of November 2019 and we have an incredible high tide here. Springs, and as you can see, Christchurch Quay is largely underwater. It's quite deep, I have to say. This is normally, you know, half a metre above the water level. So it's quite a surprise to come here and find it so deeply underwater. Got to be careful not to trip here. There's a curve. Where is it? There it is. Okay, right. Let's go and have a look at the old mill. This boat's been washed up last night on the high water last night. You can see where it came to last night along this line here, but I think it's going to be higher this morning. We've got another half hour of tide rise. What time is it? 8:57, so high water is about 9:34, so there's another half hour of the tide. So be careful not to go off the edge here. You can see the stakes along there where the ferry normally moors up on the quay, and you have to step down into the ferry normally. And as you can see, the bench seats are underwater down on the quay there by the hut, so the seats are actually underwater. Here's the other side of the mill. As you can see, the mill stream's also over its banks, underwater, in the bridge there too. Very little room under the bridge. Let's go over to the sailing club. I am a member of Christchurch Sailing Club, so I'm allowed to do this. Oh my word, I haven't seen that for a while. Here's the other side of the mill stream. Look at that, that's the mill stream on the other side of the bridge. And this is normally a footpath, leads to Bridge Street, and the first of the two bridges over the Stour Avon. Sorry, the Avon. That is crazy, and it's still rising. Okay, so we're now looking back towards the mill we've just come from, and there's Christchurch Priory, and now we're looking back up towards Bridge Street, and the entire mill stream path is underwater the whole length of the way up to Bridge Street. You don't see that very often. This really is something you don't see very often, and if the water level rises much more, it'll actually be difficult to get through here. In some places it's quite deep already, right on the edge of the path. This is nuts. Actually taking a risk of not being able to get back when the high tide's at its peak in 25 minutes or so. But we might as well have a wander up as far as we can go. Well, this really is nuts actually. If you look down the mill stream all the way to the river, it's completely flooded all the way to the bridge. I'm just going to see how far I can get. It's got to be done. So there's the Priory again from the other side. Well, the river's actually flowing across the path here. You can see it just a bit further up past these ruins. Let's get up there and have a look. It's actually over its banks this side and across the path. Well, there you have it. That's the Avon and the bridge at Bridge Street. Constable's house on the left there, and the river is actually flowing Actually, do you know what it is? It's the mill stream flowing over into the river. So the mill stream has burst its banks first, and you can see the water here flowing across into the Avon. That's nuts. That really is insane. In two places, and the tide is still rising. We'll have a quick look at the Constable's house, and then we'll go back. So there's the Constable's house and the castle on the left, Christchurch. And the river's just gently lapping over the path here. There's a cormorant, look. And so to the bridge at Bridge Street. I don't know if you can see between the boats there on the other side of the river, but the water's way up over the banks there as well, and there's still quite a lot of time before high tide is reached. If the tide rises more than 10 more centimetres, it's going to be a real job getting through here, so I'm going to head back to the quay now and see what it's like. I'm guessing that this has risen an inch or so, 2.5 centimetres if you must, in the last 10 minutes since I walked up here, because sections of this are much deeper than they were on the way up towards the bridge. There's still a tiny bit of dry ground here, but not much at all, and I'm imagining soon this will all be underwater. I don't want to get trapped on this section, so I'm going to get back to the quay. This is what it was like without the strong winds that were predicted. We're quite lucky really, because if there was a strong southwesterly, that would have pushed the tide up even higher, and it would have been much worse than this if there were any kind of storm surge. Well, again, I've been about 15 minutes now walking up to the bridge and back, and I have to say the water level has risen significantly since then, and it's still going up. There's the little bridge over onto from the quay onto the sailing club by the mill, and that is as high as I've ever seen it, probably. There's even rowers out there on a day like this. They'd be really careful they don't run into something. Yeah, it's quite an increase in the water levels now. This is going to be good. Let's watch this car coming through. No, he's chickened out. Look at it flooding around down there on the quay. I mean, this is a footpath the other side of these benches, under a foot of water. But that's it, it's not going to get any worse. That's funny, isn't it? Maybe this is lower and it's come round from the road. Yeah, it must have done. Or it's seeped through underneath, through the drains. And it's still rising. Still rising. Lots of cars up there decided not to go through. You got the right idea? No, go on, it's fine, I'm wearing wellies. Bloody hell. You wouldn't believe it, would you? God almighty.